Hey everyone, so a quick note before we start the video. Last time we met up with Ruby on the coast and went through a dialogue and managed to save her, so she got away. I say that because for this video we're going to be doing side quests, and we have to reload a save because we had hit a significant plot point that locked us out of those side quests. So we went ahead and loaded something back up. So this is going to be before we met Ruby. If you get confused and things seem out of order, that's why. But rest assured that after the side quest, we will continue with the main story. If not this video, then another video. So thank you and enjoy the video. Hey everyone, Jocular Claymore here, and welcome back to Disco Elysium. So last time, we ended on quite a strong note. So as you can see here, we found Ruby's hideout. Ruby was the 8th party person, but more importantly, the murder suspect, the one who we think killed the hangman, Lily. She had a machine with her, the pale emitter, which sent radio waves, deadly radio waves at us, and it hurt a lot. And we managed to get information out of her, talk her out of it and stuff. But then we reached a climactic moment. She did die in the first time, and then we reloaded it so that we could save her. So we are playing the playthrough where Ruby runs away, and as far as we know, she is still alive, and I wanted it to be that way. We also investigated her tent and found her journal and learned some more information there. So at this point, okay, so I loaded the save before we talked to Ruby, and I'll do that stuff off camera because we've already seen it. But I did want to try these side quests. So specifically this one, get yourself organized, because it doesn't become available once we're past that. So the good thing is that we open the shortcut here. We might as well see if we can do this thing. Yeah.
This does look outside.
We already did this.
It's a great place to hide. And Mazavia, indeed. In fact.
Alright. I think getting out of here is always tricky. There we go. And yeah, technically, Kim does warn us before talking to Ruby that, hey, you know, things are gonna change. So we already spoke with Cindy the Skull. Thank you, autosave. Next, we're going to talk to Mañana. And then I think there's a third NPC that we can talk to about communism.
There it is again. That spectral smell haunting this industrial harbor. And it smells like heavy fuel oil, mostly, because it's an industrial harbor.
Yeah, we can supposedly smell out communists.
Years of turmoil, of hopes and dreams, ground beneath the inexorable tides of capital.
Let's close our eyes and take a deep breath.
Can you smell it now? You inhale. The cilia along your olfactory epithelium tingle with excitement as they sift through the swirling morass of industrial odors. First come the smells of the agitated strikebreakers, layers of body oil and sweat, over-buttered meals pulled from bake-like lunch pails, the biting stench of lye soap. And then there's the slowly oxidizing metal gates, the scent of stale grease emanating from every crack.
Everything in order, detective?
It's kind of a personal errand. I'm smelling for communist, Kim. I'm working on developing my political consciousness. Just take it in the afternoon. Smelling for communists.
You're smelling for... You know what? I'll just leave you to it.
Yeah.
Carry on, detective.
Just trust me, bro. I got
It
this.
is a mark of the lieutenant's respect for you that he does not press you on this decidedly extracurricular errand.
Oh, that reminds me that I think semi-recently they had confirmed that um, a show based on Disco Elysium has been greenlit, along with Life is Strange. So that'll be really exciting. Um, in the Discord, in the Disco Elysium Discord, somebody was joking that like, oh, if you really want to do a film adaptation of Disco Elysium, right, just give a camera to someone on the street, give them a bunch of cigarettes and alcohol, and and let them film for 10 hours, and you got yourself Disco Elysium. All right, what else?
The lieutenant lacks your highly developed politico-olfactory cortex. The reek of communism is undeniable, and it's coming from that railing right there.
You mean from Manana?
Yes, now's your chance to establish contact. But be easy about it. Communists have been known to charge when startled.
What's funny is that a while back we talked to him, asked him if he was a communist, and he said no. But I mean, I'm sure like he was just trying to protect himself.
Hola, wandering man. How can I help you?
Listen, brother, there's something important I need to talk to you about.
What's that, boya?
Now's your chance. Remember, communists are notoriously skittish, so it's best to insinuate your way in. Hold on. This isn't a man who goes in for subterfuge. He prefers someone who'll look him in the eye and say exactly what's on his mind.
Okay. It involves our mutual friend Cross.
Don't think I've ever met a Kras personally. Then again, I've never been to Gran.
I believe there's a cell of radical communists operating in Martinez. Can you help me find them?
Now, that is an important subject, but also a sensitive one. Still, good of you to just come straight out with it. No beating around the bush.
Yes, he certainly has a way of just coming out and saying things that normal people wouldn't.
Yeah.
So you've given up copying and now you're hunting comunistas. Care to say why?
I'm not hunting communists, I'm trying to get organized by them. Yeah, that looks like the most direct.
Oh, I see. I wish I could help. Unfortunately, I don't know many comunistas.
Are you sure? You smell just like a communist.
Didn't realize you could smell communism. But then, I've never studied the subject.
Maybe it's not taught in any of your so-called universities, but there's definitely something going on here.
Ah, but you know, I did meet a genuine ideologo a few months ago. Perhaps he's your guy.
Did he say his name was Steban by chance?
Didn't say anything about his name. Wasn't this sort of encounter where names matter?
What's an ideologo?
You know, a guy with a theory. Someone who likes to pit his theory against other theories in deadly theory combat.
How did you meet him?
It was late one night as I was leaving the arbor. He was waiting on the corner in a bright white jacket, classic Sarameritian style. He asked me for a light. We shared cigarettes. Then he asked me if I ever thought about getting into some of the extra physical branches of communism.
Hang on, what does that mean, the extra physical branches of communism?
No idea. I took it to mean he was asking me to join some sort of underground cell. A very old school organizing technique. The sort of thing comunistas used to do before the revolution.
What did you tell him?
The same thing I always tell people who try to press some claim on me. I said, every boyadero rides alone.
Okay, how do I find this guy?
I couldn't tell you. Once I declined his offer, we finished our cigarettes and he disappeared back into the night. Just before he melted into the shadows, he turned to me and said, "Remember Dobrava and Abadanais."
Yeah, and I think that's the password that we need to get into the meeting.
And then he was gone.
Who are Dobreva and Abadanais?
I don't know. Guess not everyone remembers.
What do you think? Yeah, that's a good point. What do you think it means?
Been wondering about that myself. Some comunista inside talk could be. Not meant for the wider public. They love that kind of thing. You'd have to ask someone who knows this ideologo personally.
Not to interfere in your personal errand, but it might have something to do with that passphrase Cindy mentioned earlier.
I was totally about to say that.
Of course you were, Detective. Apologies for interrupting.
Just in time. The faithful partner arrives with the key that turns the lock. You two make a good pair.
Yeah, we do.
I salute you, boyas, and wish you good fortune on this grand ideological quest.
The man whispers a jaunty tune. A coastal breeze ruffles his hair.
All right. And then there's a third NPC that I read is in one of the rooms. I can never get these stairs. There we go. I read that there's a third NPC staying in room 11, I think. And then the meeting tonight is, I don't think it says, oh it does, 2200. Yeah. And we can also send the victim's body to processing, but when we do that, if we do that, Kim will leave for the rest of the day, and we're definitely going to need him. I know we're doing things out of order, but, you know, I want to explore whatever I can from this game. And that's the beauty of it. I'll try to edit in a somewhat cohesive manner, but, you know, I'm having fun. Yeah, Cindy's up there. Okay, room numbers. That's 8, 9, 10. So is this 11?
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says, number 11.
Let's knock.
No reply.
Padlock?
It's a solid lump of metal, but the shackle is deeply corroded. A solid pair of chain cutters would make short work of it. Better whip out those cutters. You won't get very far otherwise.
Hmm. Yeah.
This door has been closed with a padlock. The shackle snaps like a twig, and the lock falls to the floor with a little thud. It should be possible to enter now.
After you, detective.
Just not going to question it. Alright, try and get the...
Master Investigator, you just can't keep yourself away from locked and hidden places, can you?
What do you mean?
Nothing, nothing. You're right. Get in there. Deep. Invade every personal space. Break every lock.
Hey, I am not some sort of peeper.
Sure, friend. This is nothing sordid. Nothing inappropriate. You just have to do this. It's your duty.
Duty. What thought was this? Jamrock Shuffle. Eh. A flamboyant poster of a white star, real lithography. Marks?
A plaster cast bust depicts a middle-aged man with impressive sideburns. The name on the plinth reads, Kraz Mazov.
Father Mazov, the hero of the working class.
Whoever lives here definitely shares your enthusiasm. There aren't many communists around, not after the revolution. Some youth still keep the ideology going, it seems.
Why do they have a bust of Kraz Mazov? Because they're communist.
The White Star, the photos on the wall. I think we have broken into the apartment of a young communard. How fitting.
Photos of revolutionaries posing with guns. Revolutionaries love to pose with their guns. Books of critical theory on the monstrosities of capital and such. A lounge jacket, and there's something else we got. Was it a postcard? Or was that from before? Okay. Anything else? Nope. Okay. What's this? Oh, funny. This? Wait. Alright. So we're gonna have to pass the time. Okay, so in that case, we're gonna pass the time. We can talk to Kuno about the missing insects. There's Cloudsy on the roof. What do you have to say for yourself, young man? young mister.
Fuck does Kuno care?
Hmm. Um, oh, here. You wouldn't happen to know anything about any missing locusts?
No, Kuno doesn't give a fuck about bugs.
So he knows locusts are bugs.
Oh my god, I told you that shit is lame!
Shut up, see.
Now they're gonna take you to lame prison!
Hold on, no one is lame here. Just tell me what happened.
Deny everything, Kuno. You need to lawyer up.
Kuno's not gonna say anything without his lawyer present.
Lame. That rings some bells. Could this be connected to Night City? AKA the City of Rage.
Kuno, is this about Rage City?
Oh god, Kuno, no! It's gonna happen now. They're gonna make you lame.
Stop it, see. No one's gonna make anyone lame. Kuno's got this under control.
There's definitely something going on here. You should check out Kuno's shack, the one with the pig's head.
Let's talk about your shack again.
The fuck do you want with it?
Oh, yeah, we
Good
talked
call,
about this.
Pigmeister. Don't come and talk to Kuno. Kuno doesn't fucking care.
Yeah, oh, we know you don't. Okay. Local kids might know, so... Talk to you.
Kuno, the pig's getting pretty close to me. Come to snuff my shit out, I think. Looks like it's time for me to go, Kuno. Pig's come to take me in. I'm going away for a long, long time, Kuno. Going away for life.
What's going on there? Fuck are you trying to pull, pig?
You there, behind the fence.
You don't want to fuck with me. I got my hands bloody. I'm not here, pig. You're not seeing this.
You can still see the top of her hat from behind the fence.
Okay. We already saw this.
What do you see?
Oh yeah, we could go back to this. So our odd soul wasn't in the back of the whirling?
I don't know. They're about the same size. Not the same boot, no, but they could be the same person.
No horizontal boot prints. Whoever walked in the whirling's pinball workshop didn't walk here.
No, these prints are pretty standard. The ones in the dust looked custom. Or maybe they're just a foreign design. It's a boot print, whatever the case.
I forget which one is Kuno's shack. I don't think it's this one. It's crawling with locusts in here.
All around you, the hisses and chirps of locusts fill the musky
Oh yeah, this is
air.
Kuno's. I see the
The
thick head.
earthen floor of the shack has been shaped into mounds of mud, dotted with little holes for windows. Like skyscrapers, spires of dirt and sand rising. Accommodations for their insectoid inhabitants.
Well, detective, it appears you've solved the case
The lieutenant looks around, writes something in his notebook, and turns to you.
of the locusts. For the missing locust case, which is a sub-case of the imaginary insect case. So at least that's going well.
Yes, precisely what I was thinking.
Yes. I feel we are nearing a real breakthrough.
Okay, let's get him to
I'll
stop.
let you handle the Kuno side of things. You are doing just fine.
Alright. This here is... Money? Cool. Boy,
Fuck does Kuno care?
I know you took the locust from the traps the cryptozoologist set up.
Yeah. Kuno took the bugs. So what?
So it wasn't a phasmid. A wave of disappointment washes over you.
You say you don't give a fuck about bugs, then you go and build a whole bug town.
It's not Bugtown. It's the city of locusts. Locusts aren't just bug shit. They come out of the sky like a fucking shadow. Shit descends.
Stop!
Locusts coming down like a shadow. This must be the Night City he mentioned when you asked him where he's been.
So that in there is Night City?
Yeah, Locust City. City of Rage. City of Lights.
There's a tug of war over the name of his fantastical city. It's almost too big for his imagination. The girl forces herself to watch again. the corners of her eyes twitching from discomfort.
Whatever, kids, I just wanted to ask.
You don't have a brain for this shit. No one has the brain to take Kuno's shit.
It's because of the lame, Kuno.
I am who I am, see? Fuck you.
Did he just say I?
Hmm.
Kuno usually calls Kuno Kuno.
Hold on, did I hear you right? You said I.
Kuno made Kuno. Kuno says whatever the fuck he wants. There are no rules here, pig. I fucking say I when I wanna, and Kuno when I wanna. Kuno's free. Kuno's free to fucking die, bitch.
This is what he sometimes does when things get tense.
Making art is a worthy calling. I'm something of an artist myself.
Oh my god, Kuno! He's gonna make you totally lame in, like, 3 seconds! Don't let him, Kuno!
Art cop.
Yo, fuck you, see? Kuno can be what Kuno wants to be. Kuno's his own man. Kuno's free.
Honestly, I'm with Kuno on this one. Just do what you want, man.
Kuno made himself into Kuno. Kuno can make himself into anything. Kuno can make himself into a pig if he wants. Kuno can make himself into a...
Okay,
Kuno
chill.
doesn't give a shit.
We get it.
Don't make yourself into a pig, Kuno! You'll have to take me away!
In it, you hear snow melting, dripping from the eaves. Someone closing a window.
That so someone's just like, nope. That depends on the choices you make, young girl.
Without a word, she disappears entirely behind the fence. For once, the boy is lost for words. He turns completely red now, with splotches of white beginning to appear across his face. You got him. Now convince him to leave the cryptozoologist's traps alone.
I need you to stop taking locusts from the traps. The cryptozoologists are trying to find something very important. Those locusts are bait.
I don't give a shit. I don't need the locusts anyway. Shit is all lame now. C was right.
The girl's face appears again, above the fence, just long enough to make eye contact with Kuno. She doesn't know whether to be glad because Kuno is finally convinced of the lameness, or more worried because of his continued use of the first-person singular. Kuno is Kuno, not I.
I have to ask, what does the city of locusts mean?
It don't mean anything. It's shit. Kuno just likes to focus. Kuno likes to concentrate on shit. Build shit when he's zipping hard. Fuck. Pig, you really shouldn't have fucked with Kuno City. Now it's all fucking lame.
What's gonna happen to the locusts?
Kuno's gonna let the fucking locusts die.
No, don't do that. Okay, now that that's settled, I better be off.
The fuck are they trying to catch anyway? With the traps?
The Insulindian phasmid.
He recognizes the name.
Wait, you know what the Insulindian phasmid is?
Bitches think Kuno doesn't know shit. The fuck out of here. Kuno's tired of this shit.
As you leave, you notice his usual rooster-like swaying posture has changed. Slowed down, like clockwork unwinding.
Interesting. Alright. So, let's go talk to Morel and Lena.
Hello, officer. I think I almost have it. A new trap design, that is. I know you're skeptical, but I have a good feeling about this.
Yeah, so I noticed that with Morel's text, like, there's text overlay in most of Morel's dialogue, here and at the coast. So, interesting. I had a chat with this kid Kuno. He promised to stop stealing the locusts.
So it was just a child.
Thank you for telling us, sweetie. This is good news, right? It means we can try again.
She acts chipper, but something's changed in her tone. A hidden worry.
Yeah, you're right. We just need to restock the empty trap. Then we'll need to inspect the traps one more time. And then maybe we can.
He has a 38-degree fever. His resilience has given way.
That must be Celsius.
Darling, I told you to take it easy. You're getting sick. Maybe it's time to go home.
You're right, you're right. We can come back next season, when it's warmer.
More cardio. Let's do this.
We've come too far to quit. I'm gonna restock the trap. Let's do this.
We are getting really carried away with this, aren't we? Fine. It's better than having these people get pneumonia on the coast. But after this...
He wants to see this tale through as much as you. Otherwise, he'd have stopped this already. But he cannot let it drag out after this.
Yeah, we might as well pass the time.
Really? It's too much, officer.
What Morel means is we're grateful for your help.
Here's a fresh batch of locusts. They should slide right down the funnel. And thank you again. We will definitely mention you, should this lead to a discovery. I'm not talking co-discovery, of course, but...
Of course.
Wow. Co-discovery. You'd be famous. You'd show them all. This does tingle the pleasure center.
Alright. Nice. So we have a box of locusts, we can sell it. And restock the trap you left empty before. The trick is to remember which one it was. Okay, I think I remember which one. I think it was this one.
The trap stands empty amongst the reeds, powdered with snow. No insect sounds or movement around. Only the reeds' melancholy rustling.
This was the one.
Fantastic.
The locusts, dazed from being transported, slowly begin to acclimate to their new surroundings. They're not really going to get the chance to get comfortable here.
Good. Now that's done. When do you think we will return to our impending apocalypse of a murder investigation?
Soon enough, Kim. Soon enough.
Don't answer that. It was a rhetorical question.
Oh, too late. I answered it. Right. Now, go back to the whirling.
Hello, dear. It's good to see a familiar face.
I restocked the empty trap. Where's Morel?
Thank you for doing that, dear. Morel still isn't feeling well. I convinced him to stay at Gary's to get some rest. I'm afraid the cold has really gotten to him.
It's probably for the best. It's awfully cold out there in those reeds.
I'm sorry, dear. You've had to drudge through them so many times. Such is field work. A young person's game, as they say.
Her voice is shaky. What is going on here?
So, who's gonna check the traps?
Morel will eventually, or we'll talk Gary into going back out, perhaps.
The lieutenant stares at his shoe, caked in mud. He doesn't say anything.
We'll take care of it.
That really is too much, sweetie. Thank you for your dedication, but I can see you're coming down with a cough yourself.
Fuck that cough. It's not happening. The insides of your lungs are lined with tobacco, a powerful antibacterial agent.
Sure.
You are unstoppable.
Tobacco, antibacterial, yeah.
Very strange. Why is she not letting you do this? It's like she's given up.
Lena, what's wrong? You seem different.
Different? How?
You've given up on the phasmid.
I'm in doubt, sweetie. That's all. Everyone is now and then.
You're in doubt? About what?
It's, a strange feeling. I haven't really told this to anyone, but you are a police officer. Do you ever wonder if some lovely story from your childhood is just that? A story? Or a dream?
Hunching her shoulders now. She seems even smaller than she is. Like a sad young girl.
Seeing the Insulindian phasmid was just a story I used to tell people. I didn't really think about whether it was real or not.
But Morel told me you'd seen it. You also told me.
Morel's so proud of it. He always tells everyone.
You seem to really believe it happened. Doesn't that count for something?
No, sweetie. There's more to it than that. Morel was so eager to believe my story was evidence of the Phasmid's existence, that I'm some queen of the cryptozoologists. That, and for years his belief made me believe too. But now, we're both getting old and he's still working himself sick out in those reeds looking for it. But what if I was just wrong? I think I was.
The lieutenant opens his notebook, but doesn't write anything.
To hell with this. I still believe you saw the Phasmid.
A true believer. Sometimes I still see it too. The real memory of it. How it was there. Not the memory of the memory, but it's so hard to tell the two apart. Either way, I should go. Poor Morel is running a fever, and I need to get him home to Jamrock before we overstay our welcome with Gary.
Are you sure you don't need help getting to Gary's?
Oh no, thank you, but I can get there on my own. This old thing is gas-powered.
Ooh.
And then a taxi home. It's not so bad.
It's been a pleasure, ma'am.
Likewise, sweetie. Thank you for everything. Truly. Even though it turned out to be a
waste of time. A dream. A lie. A fool's hope. Say her lips moving in silence. Like that, she drives off. The gas engine putters quietly as she gets to the doors, then pushes them open. Outside, it's snowing.
We should go to...
Somewhere out there, a kilometer to the southeast, a gust of wind shakes the felled building, rattling dusty windows, beckoning with strange coldness, to ask the wind once more.
All right. So it looks like we're done with Morel and Lena's quests. All right. Okay, we got time to kill before the communist meeting today. So I think we're just going to read some books, even though we already read them, and we'll be right back. All right, it is now past 2200. Let's go organize. Yeah, so the interesting thing about RPG games like this is, you know, you're able to back up a save and reload it and all that. And it's like with Baldur's Gate 3. So I tried playing Baldur's Gate 3, and I think it's a fantastic game. It just wasn't for me. You know, like, I do love tabletop RPGs like D&D, Pathfinder. It just feels different when you're playing in a video game. I think I just prefer my video game combat, you know, to be more fluid and in real time, and not so dependent on RNG, which is what dice rolling is all about. It's just, you know, random. But when it comes to a narrative RPG like Disco Elysium, I think I like it a lot more. So, alright, let's give it a try.
As this must be it. Beyond this door lies the beating heart of radical communism in Martinez. Somehow, the night air softens the smell of trash and sea brine. As the breeze pulls through the canvas like a shuttle through a loom, you catch a hint of something unexpected, something earthy, warm, and burnt. The acrid smell of failure. No, that's just slightly burnt coffee, a smell you would recognize anywhere.
Just look at these pigs sniffing about after hours.
Why didn't you say the secret door is right behind you?
Must have slipped my mind. You know how it goes.
She gives you a lackadaisical shrug. I love that word, lackadaisical.
The metal grill is cool to the touch. You notice the lieutenant is looking uncustomarily anxious. His posture is rigid. His right hand hovers near the zipper of his jacket. He wants so badly to draw his armistice, but he also doesn't want to draw it.
You okay, Kim?
Oh, I'm fine. I was practically born to infiltrate underground communist cells. Which is just to say, we should be prepared for any eventuality.
Try to listen.
You can make out at least 2 separate voices. 2 voices, both male, approximately early 20s.
Careful with those now. I have it. It's going to work. I can feel it.
Let's do a save just in case. Above, tarps flap in the wind, forgotten hammers and nails rust. Right.
You can hear
Just bang on it.
the clang of metal reverberates all along the scaffolding. The voices coming from the other side fall silent.
Who's there? Is that you, Maurice?
It's not Maurice, it's the police. That's right, it is I, Maurice. Are y'all communists? I'm looking for some communists.
Who said communist? Did we say communist? Get out of here.
Listen, I already built like 0.0001% of communism, but now I need to get organized. Can you help me? Help a comrade out?
For a moment, silence. A slight sensation of static electricity as before a storm. A miniature conference is taking place inside, and you are the subject.
What's the passphrase?
It's remember Dobreva and Abadanais.
There's no response. You begin to wonder whether they've slipped out some back way. No, they're still there. You can feel them back there.
All right. The key's taped to the back of the door frame. Just make sure you put it back when you're done, or we'll all be locked out. And do watch the concrete. It just kind of falls away, in places.
Charmant. After you, detective.
Have fun at your underground meeting, Pig. Hope it's a blast.
Explosions? Right.
The 2 young men are either
Stefan.
oblivious to or ignoring your entrance. Their attentions are fixed on whatever it is they're stacking in the middle of the floor.
Where he's like, dominoes?
Matchboxes, it appears.
Huh.
I think it's holding, Alexis.
It is.
It's definitely not holding. Those matchboxes are stacked so haphazardly, it's like they want them to collapse.
Careful, careful.
Like dominoes.
Damn, hardly any difference.
The young man shakes his head and then looks up at you and the lieutenant with barely concealed irritation.
You two, you are late.
They should know the meeting starts at 10 p.m. sharp.
There's a great deal of tension in this young man's shoulders, more than someone his age should bear. Meanwhile, his companion inclines toward him, eager to catch every word that dribbles from his friend's mouth. Just a moment. Could this be the former owner of a certain jacket you acquired recently?
Really?
Don't let them see you flustered, sire. Play along.
Before we move on, do you recognize this jacket? You weren't exactly easy to find. What am I late for exactly? Yeah, play along. My apologies, comrades. I had to be sure I wasn't being tailed by our class enemies.
We all have to take precautions, especially during these delicate times. What matters is that you've made it, and that you've done the reading.
Uh-oh. No one said anything about reading. You'll just have to wing this one.
Man, it's like being in school again. The reading, yes, I've definitely done that.
You have? Excellent. Let's hear your critique then.
I liked the characters on the plot. I thought the themes were interesting. There were too many words. Yeah, things like I like the characters' plot, and I thought the themes were interesting. That's very much what somebody says when they clearly haven't read something. I thought the themes were interesting.
They always say that when they haven't done the reading.
See?
Well, this is getting awkward. I'm not sure what you're expecting to find here then.
Maybe they can explain themselves.
What were you doing with those matchboxes just now?
The young man frowns at the little pile of boxes on the floor.
Nothing, just messing around until the meeting started.
They're watching those matchboxes awfully intently for two guys who are just messing around. It's almost as though they were trying to create the most unstable structure they could, with predictable results.
What exactly are you two doing here?
In the most generous sense, I would say we're cultivating revolutionary consciousness.
Yes, that's probably the best way to describe it.
But more specifically, we are running a reading group. The most rigorous and theoretically advanced materialist reading group in Martinaise.
Comrade Steban is a great discussion leader, one of the best at the university.
It's obvious they take this group of theirs extremely seriously. Whatever you do, don't compare it to a common book club.
Sounds like a place for intense intellectual engagement, exactly my kind of jam.
That's our whole thing. The world is so shallow, all noise and repetition. We're interested in genuinely radical critique.
Precisely. We are not interested in senseless parroting. We like to read critically.
Within the contours of Mazovian historical materialism, of course.
I didn't realize they taught radical Mazovian theory in the universities.
Huh. As though you can call that pablum teaching.
One thing you learn quickly at university is that you're not going to find a real education in any lecture hall or discussion seminar.
We are post-attendance, basically.
Exactly. The only worthwhile part of the so-called École Normale de Revachol is the library. That's where we've made our greatest critical strides.
Okay, so what does your reading group actually read?
We study all the foundational texts of Mazovian theory, of course. Just last week we finished the second volume of Puncher and Watman's Innocence of Capital.
Truly extraordinary.
And before that we spent 6 weeks on State and Plasm.
Uh-oh. You can feel your attention span rapidly deteriorating.
Force yourself to keep listening.
We've also read Wertmüller's The Megastructure of History, and before that, Real and Reality.
Communist theorists love puns, in case that wasn't obvious.
Hablars une paix infernale.
The original Fisdale translation, not that watered-down revisionist garbage.
These two deserve the Order of Honor for bullshitting. There's no way they've actually read all this stuff.
I mean, if you've ever tried to read leftist theory, it's hard. Very academic, very densely written.
Obviously.
But, of course, our special emphasis is on the theories of Ignace Nilsson and his followers, especially the inframaterialists.
I know who Krasmazov is, but who is this Ignace Nilsson guy?
Only Krasmazov's most trusted lieutenant, the evangelist of the revolution, and the founding father of the People's Republic of Samara.
It's hard to overstate how unimpressed he is that you've never heard of this world historical individual.
He also happens to be the greatest communist theorist after Mazov himself. It was Nilsson who first postulated the existence of ideological plasm, which forms the basis of inframaterialist theory.
Plasm, huh? Sounds like a hell of a drug. You might want to ask about it. The young man sighs. His companion looks about furtively.
Where's the rest of the reading group?
What do you mean? This is the reading group.
So there's just two of you?
We're in something of a rebuilding phase.
Some of our former comrades didn't have the ideological fortitude our work demands.
Okay, but what happened to them?
Intellectual attrition is maybe the best way to describe it. Felix said he couldn't keep up with the reading on top of his classwork. And Susanna wanted to read text other than Mazovian theory. Like novels, if you can believe it.
What's wrong with novels?
Imagine the audacity of wanting to read a novel in a reading group.
Maybe you just haven't found the right group yet.
We've tried recruiting new members, but unfortunately the current intellectual climate is pretty hostile to inframaterialist thought. These days, if you're on the left, the ascendant schools are the Godwallians and their iconoclasts.
Don't forget about Maurice and the turnips.
Right. Then there is the whole turnip debacle.
Whatever this turnip business is about, one thing is perfectly clear. These young students have a much deeper understanding of communism than you do. You could learn a thing or two from them. If you can convince them you're one of them.
What about Cindy? Is she part of the group?
Cindy is... how to describe her role?
Something of an ideological auxiliary, perhaps.
Yes, that's exactly how I would put it. And naturally, we support her radical counter-liberal aesthetics.
But she refuses to submit an essay, so we can't call her a member of the group per se.
That doesn't stop her from using a room for studio space, of course.
Who are the iconoclasts?
For starters, they love talking about beans.
Beans?
That's right.
Like kitty
Iconoclasts are
pots?
obsessed with beans. They love thinking about beans. They love counting beans. But most of all, they love building models to predict how many beans there'll be in the future.
Interesting.
Nota bene, iconoclast is an extra pejorative form of the already pejorative name Mazovian economists, a moderate school of Mazovianism which advocates the gradual transition to communism through carefully managed economic modernization rather than violent social revolution.
So like reform versus revolution. Got it.
They're by far the most bean-centric school of communism.
I don't get it. Are the beans a metaphor?
If only. They've got all the beans accounted for in their asset sheets, their quarterly budgets, their future projections. But for some reason, there are never enough beans to go around. So we've just got to cut our bean rations in half.
And next thing you know, there are budget cuts, so now we've got to cut the bean rations in half again. You see, iconoclasts claim to be communists, but in reality they're just liberals with hard-ons for spreadsheets.
And the Gottwaldians? What's so bad about them?
They're the most depressing school of communism. They love writing long books with a patina of Mazovian theory to cover up their cheap psychologizing.
A gang of cheap psychologists and intellectual midgets.
That's not a nice word.
Typical Gottwalders, in other words.
It's okay for Uli to say that, because his dad is from Gottwald.
What's so depressing about their theories?
The Gottwald school believe that intellectuals as a class are incapable of sparking revolutionary change. So all they can do is critique capitalism from inside itself.
In other words, they have lost faith in their own relevance.
That's why they spend all their time smoking cigarettes and writing long works of criticism that make you want to commit suicide.
That sounds miserable.
It is miserable. That's probably why they're always committing suicide.
Damn.
You see, the Gottwald school look like communists. They talk like communists. But scratch the patina and you'll see beneath that they're just depressed liberals who've read too many books.
Thank you. And what about the liberals? Are they liberals too?
Of course not. The only people who actually call themselves liberals are mouth-foaming reactionaries.
Really?
Basically indistinguishable from fascists. You'd need an X-ray machine to tell the difference.
Did you say something about turnips?
It's an unfortunate story. You see, our ex-comrade Maurice is something of an economist.
He's studying macro and microeconomics.
Well, a real intellectual, it sounds like.
Right. So a few weeks ago we were discussing the extra physical capabilities of the revolutionary state. And Maurice said, what were his exact words, Ulex's?
It was unbelievable. He said, turnips don't care if they are grown by communists, moralists, or Vulcan. They grow just the same.
Interesting.
Just a minute. Steban, Ulixis. Why do those names ring the faintest of bells? Probably because they're the real names of Nazteb and Eximus, the authors of that so-called essay about Tip-Top Tournay you read in La Fumée.
I remember that, yeah.
You should get to the bottom of this when you have the chance.
Basically, he was rejecting the whole foundation of inframaterialist theory.
What is this inframaterialist business they keep blathering about? You've never heard of anything like it.
Remind me what inframaterialist theory says about turnips again?
Simply that under suitably revolutionary conditions, crop yields naturally increase relative to non-revolutionary crops, which Morris somehow has the gall to deny.
Susanna said that he has been hanging out with some non-communists lately.
For us, the question boiled down to, if you don't even accept the basic ideas of Nielsen and inframaterialist theory, why are you in the reading group?
So you expelled Maurice from the reading group over an argument about turnips.
Well, it wasn't so much that he was expelled.
He just quit coming. We haven't seen him around for weeks.
I've heard enough. Let's talk about something else.
Go ahead.
Do I know you two from somewhere?
I don't think so. Unless you've been hanging around the Cultural Studies faculty at the École Normale de Revachol.
Perhaps he subscribes to La Fumée.
Wait, you guys wrote for this?
You've read our article.
For the first time since you've met the young man, words seem to desert him.
That I did not expect.
His companion is blushing now, a sheepish grin on his face.
The energy in the room has shifted ever so slightly in your favor. They're afraid they've somehow embarrassed themselves in front of you.
Well, don't keep us on tenterhooks. What did you think of the essay?
Time to meet these two on the intellectual battlefield. Why don't you show off those highly developed critical faculties of yours?
It was a good article. You should keep developing your ideas.
Well, of course that's just an initial foray into the subject. We're hoping to return to it for a more substantial treatment next term. In any case, I'm glad our piece found its audience. That's always the hope with these things, you know.
Is the reading group accepting new members?
We typically only accept new members once per semester. There's this whole process with essays and presentations on assigned topics. But given that we have some extra seating at the moment, I guess we could be convinced to expedite an application or two.
Steban, you can't be serious. For these gendarmes?
I am serious. As materialists, we've got to adapt to conditions as they are. Besides, he'll still need to pass the interview portion of the entrance process. Assuming he's even still interested, that is.
Alright, did this reading group have anything to do with the lynching?
Lynching? No. We're not an operational cell.
We think of ourselves as more of an intellectual vanguard.
Don't know if I like vanguards much. Let's see. Are you sure? My working theory is that communism killed Hangman. Is your reading group affiliated with the Union somehow? That's a legit question.
No, we're an independent organization. We acknowledge and respect the Union's efforts, but our interests are more theoretical than Mr. Clare's.
He speaks the truth.
Are there any operational communists in Martinez?
No, unfortunately. The communards were hunted down and killed nearly to a man. All that's left of them are bones and old rifles.
Well, that's too bad.
It's a world historical nightmare, one from which we've yet to awaken.
When will you wake up? And what will you see when you do? A moment of silence. They're waiting for you to speak.
Convince them you belong in the reading group. Okay, let's do it.
What's there to be scared of? You've really been cracking the books these last few days. You can go toe to intellectual toe with any reading group in Martinez. You've spent a not inconsiderable amount of time arranging the works in your mental library by theme and period. All the ideas and references you'll need are ready at hand. Now, chin up. You've got this.
This is just the group I've been looking for. When do we start?
Oh, you want to start now? Sure, we can manage that.
You've caught him off balance. The momentum is already in your favor.
Go ahead and take a seat. Since we haven't had time to prepare an exhaustive questionnaire, I think we can keep this interview more freeform. Why don't you tell us a bit about the books you're interested in? And we'll just see where the conversation goes.
Like you guys are really getting into political and historical subjects. I'm more into practical books. I may not have read that many books. Let's go with this one.
Absolutely. It's the only proper foundation to develop a real understanding of events.
There might be something to that. I recently finished The Greatest Innocence.
Don't think I'm familiar with it. Give us a quick summary, if you don't mind.
This is a good start. They're starting to loosen up. You feel relaxed and in control. You quickly gloss Lopez de Fuego's essential argument, peppering it with your own commentary and asides.
But then, any critical account of Dolores Day's reign has to seriously reckon with her atrocities in Margartania and La Vuelta during the Mesque secession, don't you think?
Lopez de Fuego seemed to think she was pretty great regardless.
Total nonsense. The greatest thing Dolores Day ever did was get blasted by her own terrier.
If he wants a real critical history, he's got to read on the material conditions of the Mirovan Boilermakers.
He's so good. Brutally revelatory.
These kids are eating out of your hand, practically. Another quarter of an hour disappears. The questions come rapid fire, but you have an answer for every one. Now you can sense things starting to slow down. The interview must be reaching an inflection point.
But to Comrade Ulix's point, isn't there value in reading really difficult books just for the sheer challenge of it?
Listen, books are fine and all, but to be straight with you, they're no substitute for a real story.
Okay, we'll bite. What sort of stories are we talking about?
A real-life procedural, complete with gory details. How about a tale of adventure, intrigue, and daring-do?
Let's just say the human body starts to do some weird things when it's been in a tree for 7 days. I'll tell you how I infiltrated the wild pines for my investigation. I'll tell you about the time I woke up and completely forgot what money is. This music is ominous. Let's try this one.
Sounds like old-fashioned revolutionary espionage. Let's see where this goes.
Yes, I'm rather curious myself.
Now you're getting somewhere. These boys aren't even bothering to contain their interest. They want to see how you weave the threads of this story together. Even the lieutenant seems engrossed, despite your revealing details of an RCM investigation.
But I still don't see what the lady driver had to do with a strike standoff.
In all fairness, the whole situation is rather complicated.
That's just it though. She was just one more pawn, just like how the Wild Pines rep tried to play me. Yeah, I'm still trying to piece the whole thing together, but I can't get it to add up yet. I'm not even sure there is a connection, but I need to get the Pines' cooperation somehow.
Clearly there's a lot of ins and outs. It almost reminds me of a Dick Mullen novel.
Again with Dick Mullen.
Another quarter of an hour disappears. The conversation bounces back and forth. Whatever their pretensions, it's clear these two have been craving something real. Now you can sense things starting to slow down. Time to wrap this tale up.
So anyway, my current theory is that she's somewhere along the coast.
Makes sense. It doesn't seem like there's anywhere else she could have gone. I suppose we'll have to leave it there. But listen, gendarme. We could use someone with your breadth of expertise. With just a little more theoretical background, I think you'll be able to make some real contributions.
Yes, I would say he's got serious potential at least.
And with that, welcome to the most ideologically advanced materialist reading group in Martinez. Here's your first assignment. It's an overview of inframaterialist theory. A little basic, as you'll see, but one has to start somewhere.
I'll add it to my very extensive reading list.
You're going to fit right in, I think. Come back when you're done. We'll be here pretty much every night after 10 p.m.
Awesome, we're in.
Do be sure to take your time with the reading. We'll be eager to hear your thoughts.
Alright, let's investigate all this before we wrap up. Thank you, autosave. Copy. At the bottom of the pot, an isle of black sludge rises from a shadowy sea. Construction vest. +1 endurance, -1 reaction speed. Try not to think about the cracks spidering out across the floor. A rickety easel surrounded by pots of gouache. Cindy's, no doubt. This one says, "No war but class war." Could it be the Phasmid? No, probably not. This poster reads, "Under the cobblestones, communism." Oh yeah, did we talk to him about the jacket? Let's see.
You're back.
Oh, I'm guessing these pots of goulash belong to Cindy.
Ah, yeah, it's hers. She just sort of moved it all in a few months ago.
She said if she's going to make truly radical art, she needs a suitably radical workspace.
And I don't think she could afford rent at an actual studio.
Do you like her art?
Oh, sure. It's definitely interesting, I would say.
Wait, I thought interesting was what people said when they don't have anything real to add.
His companion's
It's so
eyes
true, though.
widen with interest. He has a cold smile. If this is what the Union man meant by theory combat, you've just scored a decisive blow.
Come on. It's not that I don't have anything to say about Cindy's art. It's more that I'm still working out the details. It's a complex question. You've got to take your time with it. I guess you could call her latest stuff a sort of counter-bourgeoisie calligraphy. She's got a real taste for radical slogans.
It's too bad she hasn't developed the theoretical foundation to do truly radical work.
I think she'll get there, though. She's still looking for a subject equal to her ambitions.
Now I'm wondering, what's the deal with this place?
The deal? At a fundamental level, I guess you could call it the shattered bones of a dream crushed by capital.
A feeble and hopelessly mixed metaphor.
That's really good, Steban. You should save that for an essay.
Thanks, Uli. When the idea is sound, the words just sort of flow.
Yes, now keep developing the idea.
If this place is the shattered bones, that must make us the bone weevils.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Not as good as Steban's original idea, though.
Alright, and then we just have to read a brief look at inframaterialism. Okay, so on that note, this is a great place to stop, so thank you everybody so much for being here with me. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Remember to save your progress, and I will see you in the next video.